Attended for any length of time, you know that we take about 5 minutes each week to talk about Bible prophecy. We call it a prophecy update. Since we are futurists who take the Bible literally when it's meant to be literal, prophecy is an occasion for that, and there's about 500 end times prophecies that haven't been fulfilled. So we understand that if you read the Bible, you should be able to look out into the world and see trends in that direction. We're not saying these are the fulfillment of prophecy, just that the Bible is up to date with what's happening in our world today. Last week I talked a little bit about this. I want to do it again. It's that strange prediction about an image in the book of the Revelation that seems to come to life. It's in chapter 13. We're first introduced to two beasts, as John calls them. They are the Antichrist and his companion, a false prophet. So the text says, "And he, the false prophet, deceives those who dwell on the earth by signs which he was granted to do in the sight of the beast, the Antichrist, telling those who dwell on the earth to make an image to the beast who was wounded by the sword and lived. He was granted power to give breath to this image, and the image of the beast should both speak and cause as many as would not worship the image of the beast to be killed." Just a few years ago, this seemed outrageous or perhaps science fiction-y. A century ago, no one had any idea how this could happen. Today, it sounds like artificial intelligence or AI. There are amazing advances in that field, and some of the scientists even in that field they're worried about it because there's no ethics for it. We don't know what's going to happen to these machines, whether they're talking about getting consciousness and not playing well with human beings. You've all seen the movies. We're headed in that direction. But for now, this is an interesting article I read. Terminally ill scientist completes transformation into world's first full cyborg. Let me read the excerpts from it. A terminally ill British scientist dying from a muscle-wasting disease says he has fully completed his transition into the world's first full cyborg called Peter 2.0. Dr. Peter Scott Morgan decided to challenge what it meant to be human when he refused to accept his fate following a diagnosis of motor neuron disease in 2017. Said he wanted to push the boundaries of what science can achieve, so decided to extend his life and become fully robotic. And this week, the world-renowned roboticist returned to his home after 24 days in intensive care, with all medical procedures now complete and able to begin his rebooted life. But the evolution of his machine-like existence doesn't end there. He joked he had more upgrades scheduled than Microsoft. The world-renowned roboticist has had to undergo a series of incredibly complex, risky operations. This has included developing a remarkably lifelike avatar of his face before he lost any muscle. The avatar is designed to respond using artificially intelligent body language, and he has also explored eye tracking technology to enable him to control multiple computers using only his eyes. The final procedure in his robotic transition saw him successfully trade his voice for potentially decades of life. He underwent a laryngectomy, meaning he lost his physical voice, but in doing so, he will avoid the danger of saliva potentially entering his lungs due to his condition. Dr. Scott Morgan has previously labeled this treatment as the end of Peter 1.0 and the start of Peter 2.0. Speaking of his transition on his website, he said, "When I say Peter 2.0, I mean a cyborg. And when I say cyborg, I don't just mean any old cyborg, you understand, but by far the most advanced human cybernetic organism ever created in 13.8 billion years. Because, a lot of those were being run out on the assembly line back in the prehistoric times. But anyway, he's just emphasizing how advanced he is. Now, I'm not saying he's the image of the beast or anything like that. I'm just saying that when John on the island of Patmos was writing these things and he saw this image of the beast who was able to speak and make determinations and stuff, you think, well, that must be an allegory or a metaphor for something, because that could never happen. It could. We're seeing more and more in the area of artificial intelligence, and we should be worried about it. I'm not saying, again, that this is the fulfillment of any particular prophecy, just it's what you would expect from reading the Bible. Jesus promised he'd return to rapture the church. That entails the resurrection of the dead in Christ, the dead of the church age, and then the translation of living believers at that time. It is presented in the Bible as imminent. It could happen any moment. It certainly will happen before the Great Tribulation, where these events I read about occur. The question always is, are you ready for the rapture? If not, get ready and stay ready and keep looking up, because ready or not, Jesus is coming.